Welcome back, Book Girlies.
Welcome back.
I'm Sydney.
I'm Casey.
And this week we are talking about our March book club pick for the month, Quicksilver.
And love.
Yeah.
Absolute love.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure how I was going to like it.
Yeah.
All these fantasy books that you get me to read, I'm always very skeptical.
She went into it as like before we ever really read fantasy, we were strictly like contemporary romance, stuff like that. And then it was like Fourth Wing came out and it just like started the obsession and we kind of went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I'm always skeptical.
Yeah.
And I have a hard time with it because I know the first few chapters is information and you need it for the rest of the story. But no, I need the instant hook, the instant gratification, and that is definitely a me problem.
Yeah.
But once
you're into it.
So once she was in the castle and she's fighting off the guard and everything, and she gets stabbed with the sword. Yeah, so there's this figure that appears.
Yeah.
And I was a little confused because they didn't right off the bat name him. Now, obviously, Kingfisher is the main male character in this. I'm like, okay, this is Kingfisher.
Right.
But then she wakes up in this Fey world and they keep calling for somebody else, and it wasn't Kingfisher. So I'm like, okay, so then who was it? And then you were like, what are you talking about? I don't know.
She was like texting me and she's like, who is this person? And I'm like, I ain't got a dang clue.
I have no idea.
I was already like done with it by the time she was like halfway through.
I'm thinking maybe when she was waking up, they were referring to like a healer or something, possibly.
Probably, yeah.
Because her stomach was practically cut open, like guts.
Yeah, homegirl went through it.
She was messed up.
Yeah, yeah.
So and then the first introduction to Kingfisher was like he was in this animalistic state, and because she had his pendant on.
I was really I was interested to see like how the pendant come into play, like with Kingfisher, and then like her wearing it. I was really like, whenever all this was going on, I was like, okay, like this has got to be important. So, but yeah, I really did like how he like gave that up for her, like right off the bat, and I was like, oh god.
He was affected, obviously, going through the Quicksilver to get back to the Fey world.
Right.
But because he is Fey, he has a little bit of resistance to it, whereas like a tolerance, a human body doesn't. So it would have killed her instantly. Obviously, she was already weak. So
yeah.
But then they're in the her first time going into one of the workshops. What do they call them?
The forge.
She was going in the forge, and he was there, and then the instant flirting, and I was like, oh.
Casey was like, all right. I'm done with this.
Okay. I love that confident male masculinity, like,
thing where super cocky.
You know you're good. I mean, there's, like, levels to cocky.
No, yeah, totally agree.
But, yes, cocky in a way.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know you're the shit.
Yeah.
But, I loved Kingfisher.
Yeah, I thought that, so, like, at first, I was, like, kind of, like, I liked him, okay? Don't get me wrong. I was like, okay. Well, like, whenever it got further along, and it was talking about, like, okay, so in my, like, reaction video on TikTok, I was like, oh my god, he tattoos her with his shadows. That's not even it at all, and I was like, wow, I sound really fucking stupid saying that.
Well, it wasn't explained.
Yeah, but it wasn't explained, but, like, that was, like, my genuine reaction whenever it's but I was like, damn, that's fucking hot. Like, he tattoos her with his shadows, I was like, oh my god, give me one.
Well, it was, like, their soul ties connecting, and he was playing dumb at the breakfast table.
Oh my god, I was like...
when her hands were, like, appeering with all these markings.
Oh my god.
Like, oh, I have no idea.
Well, and he was like, don't worry about it. They'll go away in a month if you don't want to. And I was like...
Or if you don't want to.
And I was like, what does that mean? I literally, like, in my Goodreads notes, I was like, what does this mean? Like, what is this man hinting at right now? Because I was like, that's not a mating bond. I was like, for sure she would know it. Like, if it was a mating bond, like, going into, like, Akatar with, like, Feyre and Rhysand's, like, bond... And, like, them being able to, like, talk. I was like, it just didn't seem like that was what was going on to me.
Yeah.
And I was
there was
pleasantly
obviously
surprised.
A connection between the two of them, but unless you get, like, the historical, factual parts of, like, I mean, he is 1,733 years old.
No, I didn't even remember that.
Oh, no, I saw a TikTok.
Oh, okay.
Today,
I was like, dang, you remembered how old he is.
No, I saw
Casey
a TikTok
does
today.
like older men, so.
I do. I mean, I'll take a 1,000-year-old if they look like Kingfisher. But.
Yeah, no, for sure.
No, but unless you know it, the thing was, is like, obviously there was a connection, there was flirting.
Yeah.
That's self-explanatory.
Spice.
But the level in which their bond was, and it being like an ancient bond that has
like a god bond, I think is what they call it. Like God bonded. Because Telena, whenever she was telling her about like the hand tattoos, and she was like, oh no, that's, this is, we put these on ourselves. They don't just magically appear. That's fable. That's like old time fae stuff. And then Saris is just sitting there like, shit. Oh man, there's some crazy shit happening. She was like, oh yeah, for sure. And then she leaves and she was like, what did these mean? And oh my god.
So the first time they were together,
and
he cast shadows throughout the room, I was like,
when I thought he'd tattoos her.
Well, I was like, this is so Zayden Ryerson right now.
Oh, Shadow Daddy.
Yeah. I was like, is she about to explode or something? Is he trying to contain something right now? What's happening? I mean, he was, because he didn't want her to see the markings that were appearing on her chest and stuff like that.
So hot. Oh, yeah. Look, I will say the one thing, I love this book. I rated it 5 stars. Casey rated it 5 stars.
5 stars, yes.
Like, the one thing I do wish, now this is just me being nitpicky because it's me. I do wish it was a little bit more of like a slow burn. I do feel like it was like they met and then it was like not that long. It was like they were having sex and like they were like getting feelings.
I think they didn't have sex till like halfway through the book though.
But they kissed in like chapter 12. That's what I mean, is like I wish it was like
she was trying to steal his ring.
I know, but I was like, oh god. I wish it was just a little bit more like slow burn, but that's just me because I'm obsessed. Like, I don't want them to like graze hands until like halfway through the book. Like, that's how slow I want it. Like a torturous slow burn. I really did love it. I do too. I feel like the whole time, like, yes, it was a little cliche, like with some of the things, but I feel like that's kind of like like in the territory of like fae. Like, yes, you can kind of like go off the rails, but like if you're talking about like a fae realm, there are certain things you have to hit for it to be a fae realm. Because I've seen that on TikTok where people are like, oh, it's just really cliche and it's bandwagon writing and stuff like that, and everything's the same. And I was like, did you read the same book as me? Because like I don't feel like it felt the same to me, like at all.
No, I don't think so either.
No, and I really loved it.
I enjoyed it too.
Yeah, I thought it was so much fun.
And then freaking Danya, a part of the wolf pack or whatever.
Oh my gosh, she's a bitch.
I think she was just jealous of Sarah. Saris, not Sarah. Saris. I think she was jealous. I think she's had a crush on Kingfisher.
Oh, yeah.
Being a part of his pack the entire time. And all
of a sudden I could not pronounce like the name of like the... They have like a name, like how like Rhysand is like the inner circle. Theirs is like a... something. I could not freaking pronounce that to save my life. But yeah, no, yeah.
And then all of a sudden this human appears and Kingfisher is so enthralled. Like he's up
and leaving
the war and leaving them there to fight without him. Mm-hmm. But it's just like, bitch, if you stop talking long enough and let them explain what's going on, you would know that she's an alchemist. He just didn't disappear from this war. She's an alchemist. He's trying to get these relics made for the entire army. So you can survive, so shut the fuck up.
Like, honestly.
That was pissing me off. And then all of a sudden, she raises her sword to Kingfisher.
And Casey's like, not my man.
Sarah says like, no. And then the whole thing just explodes. And I was like, that's what you get, bitch. I'm like, don't talk to my man like that. I'm like, all right, Sarah, I'll let you have this one.
She's like, you can take it from here, Sarah. I get the next one.
I know. I was just like, stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, I really
did not. Too much.
I did not like Danya's character.
Well, I feel like there had to be a jealous girl in there somewhere.
It was just like annoying though. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Yeah, she was like super aggravating. My other favorite character.
Oh, I know who your favorite character was.
Carrion Swift. Mm-hmm. Carrion motherfucking Swift.
He was a plot twist that I did not see coming.
Love that man with my whole chest. I want a Carrion book. I'm like, Callie, please. For the love of all things holy.
Oh, I could
give me a Carrion book. Like a spinoff. I don't care. Give me a novella.
I feel like I could see that happening only because, I mean, he hid in this disguise of being a human in the Third Ward and, he's just a pickpocket. That's how he survives.
Yeah.
But at the end of the book, it comes out he's nearly as old as Kingfisher, and he's a part of a royal bloodline. He's Fae.
Yeah.
And he's been,
the Dianthus died something.
Yeah, something like that. But he was like, they call it mirroring. They mirrored something.
That he was glamored.
Glamored. That's
he was glamored where
you couldn't see his Fae ears and stuff like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was a plot twist I didn't see coming.
Honestly, I was
it makes sense because he didn't question things like she did.
Yeah. He was very, and I really, like, now looking back on it, I'm like, yeah, he definitely knew the whole time, like, what was going on.
Yeah.
And then, like, whenever it, like, come out that he was who he was, I was screaming. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was like, no!
Okay, I can get on board with
I really thought he was gonna, like, die and then, like, come back somehow with something. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But no, she
blended him in really well.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, maybe it was like the sword fighting and getting lessons from Renfis and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. You know, training up with the Fae, so to say.
Right. He's like going undercover, like, I'm just training.
It makes sense only because he was taken out of the Fae realm when he was very little. Mm-hmm. And although he was taught the history by the woman, I want to say his aunt, but it's like his grandmother kind of, she never taught him how to sword fight. So being able to like actually train with Fae soldiers, fighters, and like the best of them.
Yeah.
I think that was like a good like blend in kind of where it was like you wouldn't suspect him to be somebody.
Yeah, you just thought he was bored and wanted to like train fight with Renfis, like whatever.
But it definitely makes sense.
He was the comedic relief that this whole book needed.
He was.
Like whenever he was talking about Danya and he says something, she was like, "Oh my God, you've been here, or tell me you're not flirting with Danya." And he was like, "I don't know. I like him sassy. It makes my dick hard or something." I was like, oh my God, oh my God. I loved Carrion.
My favorite part of Carrion in this book was when she was in the forge at Kingfisher's palace or whatever. Mm-hmm. And she was in the forge and he's in there and she's like mixing all the herbs and the different metals, trying to get the Quicksilver to combine with these relics. And she's like, I just can't figure it out. He's like, well, why don't you ask it?
He's just like,
it was just like, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, shut up. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it cannot be that simple. And then Saris is like, oh yeah, just ask it. And then,
and I'm like, but it has been communicating with her the whole time. So why not talk back to it? It was just like, it's a no-brainer type of thing. And you're just like,
oh yeah.
Okay.
It is like one of the funniest things because like, and again, like, it goes against like the cookie cutter fantasy romance. Like, in all these other books, they have to go through this. They have to go through this weird magical quest to get to the thing, and then like it's just like just ask it.
Just ask the Quicksilver.
And Carrion's like, duh, like ask it a question. And I'm like, oh my God.
Also one of those parts where it's just like he's over 1,000 years old. Like maybe he knew that information.
I know that whole time. Whenever he said that, and then whenever I found out who he was, I was like, did he know this whole time? Was he literally holding out on us and he knew? Oh my God.
But it just seemed like a sarcastic type of thing. Like, why don't you just ask it?
Yeah. Like, I would pay a lot of money, Callie, to have a Carrion book. Like, I think that would be so funny.
I think they will. I think she will. I mean, because his whole history and stuff like that.
Do you think that the next book is going to be a dual point of view?
I don't see why not.
I hope so. If I could get inside Kingfisher's mind, that's what I want.
I mean, I don't see why not. Yeah. Well, I guess it would make sense because the way, spoiler.
But this whole thing is spoilers.
Well, the whole thing's spoiler, but I'm about to like
spoil.
Yeah, the ending. I feel like it would make sense that his point of view would be in the next one, only because now she's something that nobody's ever seen before. She's half Fae, half vampire. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And now she's got
Queen of Sansaroth or whatever it's called.
Now she's Queen of Sansaroth and she's the ruler of all vampires.
Yeah.
So it's just like I feel like there has to be another side of it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see how Hayden and Elroy come into play because like Saris has gone through like this whole transformation. She's not who she was, even like physically, but like emotionally and stuff. And how is Hayden gonna feel? Because Carrion got him out. That was like another thing, like with Carrion. I was like, okay, he could get Hayden out of the third. Why isn't he out of the third? You know what I'm saying? That whole time I'm like, why could he get Hayden out, but he could never get himself out. It's because he knew if he went somewhere else, he was more likely to be like found out. Everyone in the third dies off so quickly. No one really realized.
That's true.
Like how old he was. I think
also the third was like, besides, it was the closest to the castle, right, where they had. Like,
you might be right. I don't know. I read this, but I ended up doing this on audio, which totally recommend. The voice of Kingfisher is the same guy that does Rhysand in the graphic audios, and it is fantastic. Amazing voice. But so I did that along with like my Kindle. So I never really had like the map to like flip back to like see.
Well, and I could be completely wrong with that. I just, because where the castle is like a rich area, whatever, and then right over the wall is the third.
No, yeah, that does make sense.
And I think that was the quickest town city to a Quicksilver pool.
Oh yeah, no, that does make more sense. Like I said, I didn't actually like look at the map or anything. I'm gonna have to look at it whenever this is done.
Or maybe it was just like the closest town that they could put him in after they brought him through the Quicksilver pool too.
But I did think it was like poetic that like his dad brought Carrion in, and then like Kingfisher's dad was the one that brought Carrion in, and then Kingfisher was the one to get Carrion back. And I was like, oh my god, that's so sweet. Oh my god. I was crying. It was so sad. Yeah. But like good. In like the best way.
No, but I'm excited for this next book, to be honest with you.
Brimstone was just okay, so it was Earth, Water, Fire, Brimstone, Quicksilver. There's another one, I think. But so does that mean that there's gonna be like 6 or 7 books? Because this one is Quicksilver and then the next one is Brimstone.
I don't know.
Callie, I need answers. Like I just want to know how long I'm going to be invested in this, because I'm invested, like hardcore.
Oh yeah, like I really, really, really enjoyed this book. I liked it for our March book club pick. I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
I have been on Book Talk, and people have been recommending this book called On Wings of Blood. That if you were into Quicksilver, if you like Fourth Wing, that On Wings of Blood by Briar Bolin, I think that's how you say her name, or his name. People have been saying that if you liked Quicksilver, if you liked Fourth Wing, then On Wings of Blood by Briar Bolin is a really good pick. Do
you know what it's about?
It's a vampire academy.
Ooh.
I don't know specifics because I haven't been trying to watch videos about it.
Right, yeah. Don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin it. Yeah. So I knew it's about a vampire academy. It's got like werewolves, I think. Stuff, stuff along that line. It's fae and all that. So I definitely want to start that. I don't know if we decided that that's what we wanted to do for next month.
So I think for April, for our book club, we're going to have a romance pick and then a fantasy pick, because I'll probably end up getting to both anyways.
Same.
But then, you have a little bit of options. If someone doesn't want to go right into a fantasy right away, you have a cute hockey romance, which is The Face Off by Chelsea Curto? I don't know if I'm saying that right.
It's Curto.
Curto. I've heard literally nothing but good things. It's supposed to be like short, not like short, but like, not 600 pages fantasy. But I heard that it is really good, and it's a hockey romance, but the twist is she's also on the team. So it's like professional hockey, but she's like the first girl in the NHL.
I was gonna say water girl.
No. Oh my god. Like fangirl down.
Yeah.
But no. She like plays on the team, and so it's like her trying to figure out how to be like the first girl in the NHL versus like the team captain who is super cocky, that kind of thing.
I mean, after you read, every time I've read like Fourth Wing, after Iron Flame, after Onyx Storm, you're kind of in a drought with fantasy, because you're like, what can I read right now that would be better than this?
Yeah, or nothing hits as good
of this emotional torture I'm in. And so it was one of those things where after Quicksilver, I was like, I need more fae. I feel.
Give me all the fantasy.
Because sometimes I feel like, especially every time I read a new fantasy book, whether it be ACOTAR, whether it be Fourth Wing, whether it be Quicksilver, whether it be One Dark Window, Two Twisted Crown.
Oh, God.
I feel like I'm living in the wrong dimension.
Yeah. Casey's totally not supposed to be here.
Well, I'm like,
supposed to be like a milkmaid in like the 1800s with a fae and a vampire.
I was gonna say, was gonna say, are you gonna put the fantasy?
Just like, wow, you really just gonna throw me in the 1800s.
Like, milk made in the 1800s.
That's the only thing that could come to my brain.
I was like, where's the vampire? Where's the fae?
Where is my vampire at?
Well, I'm just like, my type is older,
right?
Masculine, like. I want a space cowboy. No,
Casey wants a 1,000-year-old fae in her life.
Yeah. And you may not like this, but this generation is not like masculine, take charge.
Oh yeah, no. Mm-hmm.
And
sometimes you just need someone to throw you around, and some of these baby men just aren't doing
it. Throw me in the air and leave me there.
Lift me with your shadows, please.
But but then it's like you have Zayden Ryerson, 18. He's like,
hot, like masculine.
Yes. He's like defending a whole kingdom, and you're just like, God damn it, I want him.
You work at Costco!
I'm like, I want him. And then you got Kingfisher, who's fighting a battle.
Oh my god.
And he's got to save thousands and thousands and thousands of people in multiple realms. And you're just like, I want him.
You work at Costco. That's the only thing that's in my brain right now. That's so funny.
Sometimes I'm just like in the
living so vicariously through these characters.
Yeah, I'm in the wrong dimension, the wrong decade. I don't know.
That's so funny. One little like snippet that I did want to add from Quicksilver. I don't know if you've seen it on like our notes or whatever. I think that Riddick and Carrion would have been best fucking friends. Like, could you imagine Carrion like on a dragon? Oh my god, that would be the funniest thing. Like him and Carrion.
One thing that I wish I would have done was highlight some of the things that Kingfisher said to Saris. There is one in particular that I've been telling everybody, and I'm like, they were in the forge, and he's like, I can smell your lust.
Jesus Christ!
I can smell your lust brewing inside of you, and I can't wait to take a sip of that cup. And I was like,
Casey sent me a snap, and she's like, oh my god. I was like, yeah, Casey's sweating at work right now.
I was like, oh my god.
No, mine was and I don't know if I'm gonna get this word by word, but it was like, I'm gonna mark you so that basically like I'm gonna mark you so that everyone knows you're mine. And I was like, yes, yes, yes! Oh my god!
I think that's like the other part of it. Like,
yeah.
Okay, if I can't have a fae warrior, then
I need somebody to claim me.
Well, somebody like talk dirty like a fae or something.
So, boys, read these books. Casey's gonna get a boyfriend, and I'm just gonna strategically like chapter 35. That one.
I'm gonna sink my teeth into you or something like that.
Casey would call me the next day and be like, he wanted to fucking bite me. I don't know what's wrong with this man.
That's not how Kingfisher did it. Because remember, that was one of the things that was like Old Testament. Like,
yeah.
Is when they drink the blood during
intercourse.
That's so funny. Was like, I'm just like, oh my god, I don't know why I like the idea of it.
Casey's like, drink my blood, baby.
But yeah, imagine somebody just like bites my shoulder and like pierces the skin. I'd be like, you fucking lunatic.
She called me the next day. I fucking dumped his ass. He tried to suck my blood.
He bit me. Like, if he would have cast shadows and then did it, that would have been a different story.
I would have been really impressed. But you just biting me is fucking weird. Oh yeah, man, that's good. Woo! I think I had 175 annotations.
Oh, I just always forget to do it.
No, because if I'm doing it, like this is unsafe. Kids, I don't recommend this. I'm driving and I'm listening to the audio while I have like my phone like mounted, and I'm like at a stoplight. I'm like, oh my god, hurry, highlight this really quick. He said this, highlight this really quick. So I probably would have had more if I was like actually sitting at home. But I'm literally like driving, and I'm like, not while I'm driving, guys, but I'm like pause like at a stoplight, and I'm like, oh my god, he said that, highlight. Oh my god, he said that.
My issue is I forget about it because I get so caught up in what's going on and what's being said that I completely forget. Because I was talking about the book to somebody at work, and I was like trying to quote that very scene where he wants to drink from the cup, and I was like going through it because everybody else, like other people that have read it on Kindle, highlighted. So I was like, maybe it'll still pop up, and it didn't. But yeah, I'll have
to show you how to do like your popular highlights through your Kindle, and then you can see like what everyone else is like a popular highlight.
Oh yeah. I thought they probably did something like that.
Like whenever you're like flipping through, you know how it's like underlined or whatever. that's like a popular highlight. So you there's a way to like go through and look and see like what the popular highlights are. So I'll show Casey how to do that. But yeah, no, that man is a dirty, filthy mouth. Oh my god.
Yeah, I love it.
Kingfisher was amazing. I love it. But if you guys have read Kingfisher, about Kingfisher.
I was just saying Quicksilver.
Read Quicksilver. I got Kingfisher on the brain. But if you've read Quicksilver, definitely let us know what you think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're filming TikToks today, and we're going to be talking about our top 5-6 book boyfriends.
Casey chose violence today and made me narrow it down. I said 10, and Casey's like, no.
Listen, I have a strict... Listen, you have to be strict, and your list has to be sacred about who you're going to put in a list for your book boyfriend.
Look, you talk dirty one time, you're on that list.
Well,
I love you.
In my head, I'm like, okay, if you have 1,000 book boyfriends, you're a whore.
You're a whore.
So I have to keep what's sacred.
Casey, I have something to tell you. I'm a whore. No, seriously. I said something. I was like, we need to do our own top 10. And Casey was like, I think I could do 5. And I was thinking, well, shit, I got 11 right off the rip. Like, just
I know,
right off rip.
Well, literally, if I'm gonna go with like my sacred picks, then I have 3.
Oh shit!
You made me add 3 more on there.
Yeah, I did. Because I couldn't choose.
Listen, my 3 are ones that I'm obsessed with. They're books that I've read 100,000 times.
Recommend all the time.
Yes. Obsessed. I tell everybody about them. They are real life to me. And
they're real?
Yeah. And they live rent free in my head.
That's so funny.
So those are my sacred ones. Yeah. Those are my ride or die book boyfriends. And I was like, I can do 6. That's all. At first I was like, I can do 5. And then I thought of somebody else that is on the border of maybe obsession. Like, I really did enjoy it, and I've read the book multiple besides the one. But anyway, they're on the border. They lived rent-free in my head at the time. They just don't. Yeah, anyway. So, yeah.
You'll have to find that on TikTok and see what Casey's top 6 and my top 6 or 10. All right.
Yeah, you might throw some more in there.
Definitely. I can't narrow it down.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in for another week. We will see you next time.
Bye, Book Girlies.
Bye.